on the John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks Radio app, and thanks for being with us today. I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Great to have you with us. Phone lines open, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Just joining us live here, two of my soon-to-be good friends. We've got Senator Cardin Summers from Cordell. We're in Cordell today. And also with us, Representative Noel Williams, and Noel Williams representing the area as well. And they have just joined us. We're going to be opening up for your phone calls on I think, the 9th or 10th day of my 12-city and 12-day tour. We're in beautiful Cordell, Georgia right now. I'm going to open up their microphones here. And if you guys could come up a little bit by your mic, we'd appreciate you. Got headphones there for your callers, which I'll adjust in a moment. Great to have you with us here on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Truck the Truth Across America. And let me get right to our two senators, our senator representative here. And we're going to start with Senator Cardin Summers. Senator, thanks for being with us.
Good morning, John. How you doing?
Good. Let me turn that mic up just a little bit.
All right, great. First of all, you're in Cordell. I got to work on that for you. That's all right.
Cordell? What did I call it? Cordell?
You know, it's sort of like the word.
Cordial.
You ever heard it? Do you eat pecans or pecans? You know what I'm saying?
Pecans.
You know, well, see, pecans is what we eat. Pecans are what we sell. You got to have that. You got to have that variation.
So I'm in Cordell.
In Cordell.
Okay. Well, that's good.
That's right.
It's a beautiful area that we're in now. How far? I got to go to Brunswick tonight. How far is that?
You 3 hours at least. Yeah.
I am. What is that? Southeast?
Definitely. Just go to get to the water, and you'll be there.
That's Senator Ligon. All right. Well, good. Well, thank God, so happy.
Senator Ligon is leaving the Senate, as you well know.
Yes.
And he's pursuing other avenues, but he is a fine senator. He's been a great senator. He has a great legal mind, and he's as calm and good a guy as you'll know.
Well, that's. I look forward to seeing him tomorrow, and I'd had a chance to see him at the hearing. But Senator Summers, we've had 3 hours of our show. All of our Georgia callers not happy about the fact that you guys didn't sign Beach and Ligon's and Burt Jones's petition yesterday for this special session around the electors, and they claim constitutionally they needed 29 signatures. That's what the president lawyer said. You guys put out a statement and said you needed 3/5, but you don't need 3/5 when you're only limiting it to the electors. So let's just start with that and opening up for phone calls.
Let's start right there, okay?
Yeah.
All right. There's no one anywhere in Georgia any more would like to change or redo the election than Cardin Summers, and I'm sure Representative Noel Williams. There's no question about that. Here's the deal. The petition died because it didn't have any standing, and the governor had basically told us point blank that we were not going to call a special session because we did not have the constitutional authority to remove or change electors. That has to come from the court. The legislature, that's not our. We sat in a room yesterday where you were probably up there, sequestered for over 8 hours, and we listened to constitutional lawyers until my ears rang, telling us, what we can and can't do. Mm-hmm. And, we, as much as we all know there's fraud, as much as we all know our elections stink, the way they're done, we can't change it backwards. We have to change it going forward. And that's the problem. That's why the Senate released that petition yesterday, which I think is 10 times stronger than the letter, because the petition basically says where we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and immediately we're going to do it. The letter would never have gotten us into session, and all the letter was doing was bogging down the process. If you don't have 3/5 of the vote, and you and I both know, you are the gorilla here. You're the Godzilla. There's no way the Democrats would have voted to go into session. It's impossible. I mean, they're happy as larks the way things are, so they'd have never voted for it. So therefore, the Republicans would have looked like we just sitting there.
Where did the 29 come from? Because the senators that put this petition together, and the way the U.S. Constitution reads, is that you can have a special session around the governor with 50% plus one if it's limited to electors in the presidential election. So that's when you put out 3/5. That's not what they were trying to do. They weren't trying to call a encompassing general session just for this one area.
Yeah,
and they said they only needed 29.
But you'd have had absolutely no teeth in it, John. That's the problem. 29 guys cannot go up and change the Georgia Constitution. You got 180 House members and you got 56 senators that sit there. You cannot change the Constitution with 29 people. It's impossible. It's not legal. And that's our problem. We got to do things legally. There's no. If I could tell you right now, if Cardin Summers had the authority, I'd say let's have a do-over election. And let's have an election on paper ballots. Let's have an election where you have people looking over the shoulders. Let's have an election where you put your driver's license in with an absentee ballot. Let's have an election where you put your Social Security number in with an absentee ballot. Let's secure it as secure as possible. I've even put fingerprints on the ballot for talking points for next year's session. Possibly fingerprints if you're going to vote absentee. The problem is we have got to secure our elections moving forward. The election last November the 3rd, absolutely flawed in my opinion. But we can't change it. And here's another thing. I'm going to throw this out at you so you know. If Georgia, right now, if Representative Williams and I both had the authority to give Trump all 16 of our electoral votes, there is no pathway to victory for the president. That's what we're facing. That's the issue we're facing. And those 29 votes that you keep talking about, they didn't have but 6, 7 people who were going to sign anyway. The 29 people were never going to sign it because they were told point blank by constitutional lawyers, you can't do what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay, so, but that's not what the White House was saying. They said they had the constitutional authority to do it. So I guess there's where the rub comes in. You've got one.
Well, you have a United States Constitution, you have a Georgia Constitution.
Right. Well, what they were saying is you could call that under the U.S. Constitution. That was what their argument was.
Well, let me tell you something, John. I'm no constitutional lawyer.
Right.
I do not know that, and I have to rely on intelligent people who are constitutional lawyers to tell us that. And we were told emphatically that is not the case. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's so much floating around out there, John. I mean, you can hear anything. If you go on the internet, I'll assure you everything you hear and see, people believe is true.
All right, so let me just ask you something. So if I take what you guys have said on face value, when we're with Senator from Cordele,
there
right?
you go.
I got it. I got to take a few times. Senator from Cordele, Cardin Summers. Also with us is State Representative from Cordele, Noel Williams. We're going to get him involved here in a second. So I guess everybody, the concern about January 5th, and right now I got to tell you guys, if the election were held today, we're going to lose these 2 seats. That's why I'm so upset about what's going on.
I don't believe that, John.
If it was held today, you guys are going to lose because you got to motivate the Trump voters to get out. But then the other problem is, and this is a text I have here from Ann in Roswell, says, what are you going to do differently that is not going to allow them to steal it on January 5th the way they stole it on November 3rd? How do you answer that?
Well, the answer is simple. They're on notice now. All these election offices are on notice. Not only are we going to have people verifying signatures, which I do not believe happened in the last election. I'll be the first one to tell you. I think, let me give you an example. When Obama and Hillary ran for president, President Obama and Hillary Clinton ran for president, they received less than 100,000 absentee ballots in the Georgia election.
They received about 85,000.
Roughly. And as you well know, Biden received over 850,000. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously some mass mailing and mass voter drop boxes, whatever. This stuff will be monitored this time, January the 5th. We will have people on site at every location. And basically we have said, the eyes of Georgia are watching you now.
The eyes of the nation are watching.
That's right.
All right, so what you're saying, it's okay that they stole it on November 3rd, but now you're going to put things in place so they don't steal it.
No.
Although Raffensperger ordered another 20 drop boxes.
No, sir. That's not exactly true either. Under the Mark Zuckerberg Foundation, he is funding these drop boxes. That was
why do you need a drop box? Why can't you just put it in the mail if you got it in the mail? Why do you need a drop box?
Our current law and federal law allows that. We will change that.
That was the consent decree that Raffensperger signed
exactly.
that your colleague Beach says is illegal.
I personally think it's illegal. Okay? I think that the Secretary of State did not have that authority. That authority comes from the legislature. Having said that, though, At this point in time, our constitutional lawyers say that it is such a gray area that we'd be bogged down in court. Now, here's the deal. The electors meet when? December the 14th? Mm-hmm. Well, how are we going to get a case before the courts and get a case back? There's just timing is not available to see if we can hold up an election. Here's the deal. Yesterday in our sequestered meeting, we want to push the election back to February.
Right.
We want some of this stuff. Will the courts agree to that? Will that happen?
Well, Kemp has the power to do it. He moved he moved elections back in April, May, and June. So he doesn't need anybody to do it.
I hope you interview our governor before after you do Senator Ligon, and maybe you can get that answer.
Well, I mean, he's not talking to anybody. He's hiding in the basement. All right, let's get to the phone lines. We've also got to get Representative Noel Williams involved here. Let's get to line one. Adam in Sandy Springs. Adam, you're live. Line one.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for everything you're doing again. Got to keep you on the air here in Georgia, so I owe you a coffee, some breakfast, something. So
thank you, Adam.
This is for you, Senator Summers. Why are we not causing an uproar? Why is the governor not out there saying, let's get this done, let's look at it? I hear you pushing back and saying, oh, well, we can't do anything, we don't have any teeth in it. Why don't you just call a special session? Why don't you just look into what's going on? Let's verify the signatures. How hard is it to do that? You have the power to do it. Zuckerberg doesn't have power over here to be throwing drop boxes in our state. You guys got to stand up for us. You guys got to verify signatures. You got to make sure that our votes count. What are you doing? I don't hear you at all. I don't hear anybody out there. I see Raffensperger and Schaefer going at it on Twitter, but nobody's standing up saying, look, here's the proof. We'll all shut up and stand down and say we'll accept the election results when you prove to us that the signatures are legit, the voters are alive, and they live here.
Senator?
Well, you ask a lot of questions at one time. Let me just try to start with this right here. I have been just as vocal as Schaefer has been. I've on my Facebook accounts, on my Twitter accounts, everything I can do, I'm trying my best to tell people everything that's going on. I keep everybody abreast of the situation as I know it to be true. Now, are you telling me, and I'm telling you something, that's you and I talking together. You're wanting the legislature to stand up in an uproar in front of the governor and say, Governor, take back the electors, take back the election, let's have a do-over. I don't know how to make that happen. I agree with you that everybody's upset, but I truly do not know how to make that happen. And I feel your passion. I have the same passion. I worked for Trump. I voted for Trump. I'm a conservative Republican. That's what I do. But I do not know how to get us to the point where you're asking us to get to.
That's not what we're asking. That's not what we're asking at all. We just want to verify it. We're not asking to throw it out and let's have another election. Let's look at the signatures and verify it. We were told for $106 million that we were going to get the printout, that we could print out all these ballots and look at them off these machines.
Well, you're asking for something that truly is a mess. The signature ballot thing, in my opinion, is where the problem is. And how do we go back and verify those signatures? I don't know how to do it. We're talking millions of them. And when they pull just a sampling of them, in my opinion, that is useless when you just pull a sampling of ballots. But the point is, the Secretary of State is over elections. I feel that the election was robbed. I'll tell you straight up. I honestly believe our election process is so flawed that we have, that it was a stolen election. Having said that, though,
yeah, we all do. 30% of Democrats think so too.
I'm one senator, and Mr. Williams is one representative. We cannot. Our governor is our only pathway to get to where you're asking us to go.
Why don't you just demand them to do that? That's what people are saying. Why don't you guys, instead of sending out a release saying, we can't get to 3/5 and we're going to go to the GBI and sometime in the future when we're all dead, maybe you'll change it. That's basically what that press release was. Why not have a press release demanding that Kemp call a special session? I think that's what's frustrating people.
Yes,
I think that has been done, John.
Thank you. That's why I'm here. All right, Adam. Thank you. Let's get to line 3. Falone in Atlanta. Falone, you're live. Line 3. Go ahead, Falone.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I understand that the senators are not constitutional lawyers, but the rest of us in Georgia can read and understand the Constitution, and we're asking for them to apply it.
Okay, let me get here to answer that, Representative Noah Williams, and Representative. Another thing to consider here is Trump called your speaker on what's today, Thursday, Wednesday. Trump called him Monday, talked to him 15 minutes. I heard directly from the president that David said, "Okay, if the Senate goes with the 29, I can get you 91." That's what I heard back from the White House. So is that true or not?
I did not hear any of that. And what the speaker's conversation was with the president, I wasn't privy to that.
So
I'm not sure what
if
he
it came
said.
to the House, would you have signed the petition?
Yes, I would.
You would have signed it?
Yes. We need 108. We need 3/5.
No, they said they need 91. See, I don't know where you guys are getting the 3/5.
The 91 number is coming from.
The 91 number is coming from the United States Constitution that was written in 1776
Exactly.
that said you need 50% plus one. I mean, just read it. And that's what the president's lawyers were saying. That's what would happen at the hearing. That's what the guy came in and said. You guys have the power to do this with 50% plus one. That's why Beach put the thing out. So I'm frustrated with you going back to the 3/5 and saying, yeah, I would have signed it, but it didn't mean anything. Well, then sign it then, right? I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. But go ahead and answer. Am I saying your name right? Flown?
Yes.
Flo, good.
Well, thank you for calling. And we have to take advice of the Attorney General and the constitutional lawyers in the state of Georgia. But we did sign, and we had many members that signed. Now, could we get the 91 or the 108 to call us back in session? I'm sure we could get the 91 because we have 105 Republicans that are in the Georgia House. Now, I don't think we could get 3 other members to cross party lines and sign that, but I feel confident we could get the 91 signatures if that's what we needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let me say this also on Representative Williams' behalf. Mm-hmm. If our leadership asked the entire Senate and asked the entire Republican Senate and Republican House to join in on some petition that usurps the Constitution in some way that you're speaking of, where it's not 3/5, I don't think there'd be a member that would not do that. So let's put that up front. I'm not in leadership. Leadership of the Senate, leadership of the House. If the Speaker of the House comes to the pro tem of the Senate and says we're going to put together something, we want everybody on board with this right here, let me tell you something. That could probably happen before noon today.
Well, what we heard was that Senate leadership, Butch Miller, Majority Leader Mike Dugan, and I call him Cosmo Man, your Lieutenant Governor, the favorite Republican of CNN now that runs over there with his $5,000 Armani suit. We heard that they were lobbying their entire Senate Republican caucus not to sign on to the petition. True or false?
Not one of those persons has talked to me about signing the petition, so I cannot answer that question. But I'm telling you, I don't know that. There's too much fluid mess going on, John. The BS floats everywhere, okay? Mm-hmm. Once again, let me go back to the reality. Mm-hmm. If the Speaker of the House, who is an entirely different session than the Senate, and the Senate, when he were to come to the Senate leaders and say, we're all going to sign it, we need you all to back us up on this to get whatever session you are implying the Constitution allows us to do, it's a done deal. Get it happen. You're the man. You're the radio person. Put the pressure on them.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks app. Great to have you with us. I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, your Oracle of the Deplorables. Day 10 of our 12-day and 12-city tour, or 12-city and 12-day tour through Georgia. We're in Cordele, Georgia. Tomorrow in Brunswick at the shore. I heard it's 3 hours away. Friday, then we got to drive back to the mountains, go to Ellijay or Cumming. One of those two we haven't decided yet, but taking your calls here is always 888-480-JOHN. Go to the GeorgiaStarNews.com, GeorgiaStarNews.com, and we are bringing light where there's darkness, and giving you your voice here in Georgia. And as Anita in Dublin said, the first day I came, we are silent no more. That was Anita in Dublin, and we thank her for that. Also, go to my website, johnfredericksradio.com, until we get our advertising up, when we get our other radio station here online, which is in negotiation. We survive on your donations, so we'd appreciate the help. Go to johnfredericksradio.com. There's a donate button there, and help us out as we get started. Go to georgiastarnews.com. It's rocking. All right, let's get the phone lines. We're with State Senator, Republican, conservative in Red Country here in his district, Cardin Summers. We're with Representative from Cordele area, Noel Williams. We're going to open the phone lines up. They're packed. Let's start with Anthony, line 1. Anthony in New Jersey. Anthony, you're live.
Hi, John. Thank you. Hey, John, thank you very much for taking my call. And my question is for the Georgia State Representatives, particularly the gentleman who spoke first. And I want to ask whether it was constitutional for Governor Kemp to issue the Stacey Abrams consent decree and change election laws without the consent of the legislature.
Well, number one, that was not issued by the governor. That was issued by Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. He went around the General Assembly and never told them. I'll give that question to Senator Cardin Summers.
Absolutely not, in my opinion. But I'm not a lawyer. I don't think the Secretary of State had that authority. I think that authority only comes from the legislature. But that question is out there. They're discussing it, and to be honest with you, I don't know where we're at with that question. But the answer to your question is, I do not believe Secretary of State had that authority to change the law without the legislature.
Gotcha. All right, great. Thank you very much. So we're glad we're on the same page with that. And then the next question that I'd have for you is then why are you concerned about the debatable constitutionality of a special session about the electors? I mean, I'm not sure if you understand the dynamics of what the situation here. No, I just want to finish it, and I'll hear you. The other side is not concerned about the Constitution or following it. They're not concerned about law and order. Are we not seeing that? I mean, the country and people of Georgia, and I've been listening to John Fredericks, they're really upset. And the other side is just concerned about power and winning, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to win it. Even stuff in the ballot boxes with uncertifiable and illegal ballots. I mean, if you believe that what the Secretary of State did was unconstitutional, then you should be as upset as all of your citizens and stop making these excuses that you can't do anything. I mean, when we were fighting the British and the Americans were just a ragtag group of colonists, you think they made an excuse they couldn't do something, so they weren't going to fight, they weren't going to stand up. I mean, do you understand the gravity of the situation here? If you're really conservative and a patriot, you'd be fighting tooth and nail for an audit of this election.
All right, Anthony, thank you. Anthony, thank you. Let's give Representative Noel Williams here a chance to respond.
Hey, Anthony, the weather down here is a lot better than in New Jersey, and we need your votes. Come on down, brother.
Well, that's what the Democrats are saying, right? Come on down.
Well, of course, it's after December 7th.
Play golf.
It's after December 7th.
It is after December 7th.
Yeah.
You're right.
No,
good one.
Anthony, our Constitution and our Attorney General, I believe, was the one that worked that out with the Secretary of State. And, we can't answer that question. We have called, we have asked, we have requested to go back in, but unless our governor calls us in, we cannot go. I'd be glad to walk to Atlanta. I'd be headed there right now. But unless he calls us in, we cannot go. We will be back in session January the 11th, and we will work out our election laws. But in the meantime, we're having special hearings tomorrow in the Georgia House, similar to what the Senate did last week. But we appreciate your question. We appreciate your fire. But trust me, we're all fired up down here, and we're working as hard as we can.
Thank you. All right, let's get to line number 2, Jesse in Jackson, Florida. Jesse, you're live, line 2.
Thank you, John. It's Jackson, Georgia.
Jackson, Georgia. I'm sorry.
Well, yes.
Jackson, Georgia. That is home of, wait, let me get the Senator Burt Jones.
Yes.
Yes, got it. Okay, I'm starting to figure it out. Jackson, Georgia, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Senators, for coming on today and for talking to the public and for being willing to take these questions. I do have to say that just before the last break, you kind of punted to John to put the pressure on, and he is, and we have a role to play, but you guys are elected. You're there, and you said that you believe in that the right thing to do is to go into a special session, but that you didn't sign because leadership wasn't clear. Now, guys, I mean, do you need leadership to tell you that the sky is blue? I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong. If you believe it's the right thing to do, put your name on that piece of paper. And the numbers, whether you think you need 130 or 91 or whatever the numbers are, that should not influence whether you offer your support.
Ma'am, you're exactly right. But let me tell you that the letter did never go out. Okay, the petition never went out. The people that started the petition, the other senators that started the petition, and by the way, thank you for your question. The other people that started the petition basically tore the letter up in replace for what we came out with yesterday, because it was a much stronger stance in regards to hopefully getting us to where you're trying and we all are trying to get to. Now, having said all this to you, let me say this right here. I will gladly, just as Representative Williams just said, I'll walk to Atlanta for a special session. I don't care. I'm ready to do whatever we can do constitutionally and legally. The other side, as John pointed out, does not give a rat's rear about the Constitution or playing fair. Unfortunately, we seem to be carrying and playing fair. Well, that's what we're elected to do. We're sworn to the Constitution of Georgia and the Constitution of the United States. And if I could change it, I'd snap my fingers tomorrow and we'd be in session. But we cannot go into session in what's called an emergency session or a special session without what the governor lays out to be that particular item. In other words, you can't just go into special session and say we're going to change time from standard to daylight savings time. You have to go in for a particular thing. And until our governor or the leaders in general get together and say we're going into special session for the purpose of changing the election, changing the Constitution, all the above, some court is going to have to give us that authority. We are lawmakers. We are not investigative. That's the problem. We don't have the Georgia Senate, which we're going to change, by the way, does not even have the authority to swear in people in a hearing. We are going to change that. Now, people usually come in and they give us affidavits, and I believe them because they swear that to be true, but there's nothing we can hold them accountable to make sure what they're telling us is true. So there's great changes coming, and maybe this is a wake-up call. I hate it. I feel your passion, your pain of Georgia. If I was governor of Georgia, I'd be doing something different. I'm not the governor. Thank you for your question.
All right, Jesse, thank you. Let's get to line number 2, Marie in Augusta, Georgia. Marie, you're live. Go ahead, Marie.
Hello, this is Lee.
I'm sorry. Let's get to, we got mixed up there. Let's get to Lee in Greenville, South Carolina. Lee, you're live.
Yes, sir.
Greenville, got
it. Okay, John, thank you for what you do, and thank you for Steve for what y'all do. We need it. Steve, John, I got a simple question for the representatives. At least I think it's simple. My question: I assume that the governor of Georgia takes an oath when he became governor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't know what the oath is. I don't know who it's to, but I'm sure he puts his hand on the Bible, and so the things that he signs. He should be accountable for the things he signs. I used to work in the nuclear business, and anything I signed was important. I could go to jail if I signed something that was wrong. So in Georgia, if he signs to certify this election, is it only required that like 30% of the vote be legal and 70% be good, or does it all have to be? He's certifying that all the votes are legal, and we know without question that the votes are not all legal. So is
look,
is he
Lee, I think
accountable?
I think what your question is you believe, as I do, if you look at the evidence, there's no question there was fraud in Georgia. You got 150,000 votes that came in, 147 to be exact, that were a combination of people not registered, people underage, people that didn't live in the state, people that were dead, people that moved out of the county, people that were registered in 2 states. You add them up, it's 150. Then you got the question with the video. So your question is that I'm going to paraphrase here is, if the governor knows there's fraud, how can he certify it? And I'll give that to Senator Summers.
Well, thank you for that, John.
You're welcome.
Well, listen, your question is a very valid question in regards to the legalities of it. The governor, just like we did, he swore, same thing we swore, the oath that we swear on the Constitution. Your question to that is, can he sign that legally? I do not know. I don't know the answer to that question, because I personally don't think the vote's fair, and I don't think it was all done legal. But where we are right now is our state is moving forward to 2 elections coming up January the 5th, Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue. And that's what they're focused on right now. As much as it hurts and as much as we're all angry and wanting to back up and take a pause and maybe even have a do-over election, our focus is on saving our republic. And the only way we can save our republic is obviously get the Republican conservative people out to vote for Loeffler and Perdue and keep a balance of power in the United States and Senate. That's where we're at right now. Now, the question you asked about, can he sign? Well, I guess he can't, or if he can't. I mean, I wish he'd take a stronger stance. There's no doubt in my mind. He obviously knows something that I am not privy to, or Representative Williams is not privy to. I mean, I hope I answered your question. I tried.
All right, Lee. Thank you, Lee. It's a good question. If I was a governor, I wouldn't sign it. I wouldn't certify it because there's fraud. You can't certify something that's fraudulent. But he did, and you can't do anything about it now, and you got to fix this when you can. But what you do is you get rid of him in 2022 in a primary. But that's your outlet. That's why we have elections. And the thing about with some of these people, Republicans don't cheat. So no matter what they do in the general session, if there's primaries, chances are those are going to be pretty legitimate. All right, let's get to line 1, Maria in Augusta, Georgia. I used to live there, Maria, a long time ago. In Augusta, Maria, you're live.
Hi. I am not good at public speaking, but I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay.
The more that Summers talks, the more he disgraces the state of Georgia and the area that he represents. This is what the Georgia Constitution says. Section 2, paragraph 7, 3/5 of the General Assembly can certify to the governor and copy the Secretary of State that in their opinion an emergency exists in the affairs of the state. The General Assembly may convene itself if, after receiving such certification, the governor fails to do so within 3 days, excluding Sundays. To hear you tell me that you're not sure that the U.S. Constitution takes precedent over the Georgia Constitution is absolutely disgraceful. Your condescending, good old boy attitude is not even playing well in your good old boy state of Georgia. We are sick and tired of people like you giving lip service. Oh, yeah, I'd walk a mile. I'd do blah, blah. You're doing nothing. And we know it, we see it. The citizens are not constitutional lawyers either. But we can get out on our computer. We can read that consent agreement. We can read the Georgia Constitution. We can read the United States Constitution. And we have educated ourselves. The citizens of Georgia know more about this issue than our representatives. And as I said, the more you talk, the more you disgrace us. The fact that Texas and other states have to come to Georgia's aid, and our senators in the majority still will not sign a blank petition, even if you feel like it goes nowhere. You're exactly what's wrong with the Republican Party. They refuse to say to support Donald Trump. If they would support Donald Trump, they wouldn't have to worry one whit about the turnout in January. I am tired of hearing you and people like you say, let's go forward. You know what? You're not going to go forward. We're not going to go forward in January and just ignore what you are not doing for November. The people of Georgia are sick and tired of y'all. The thing that's coming to the forefront is we are weeding out rhinos and Republicans who are spineless and just have no courage. If you were in charge in 1776, we would still be a British colony. You guys are disgraceful, and we're just sick of it.
Maria, thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, ma'am, and I'll tell you straight up. If you can tell me a pathway to get 108 plus people to sign to go into session, I will do it right now. And I know you don't believe me, and I'm sorry that you feel that way, that I'm a rhino, whatever you want to call it. The reality of it is we cannot get 3/5 of our fellow representatives and senators to sign to go into session. The Democrats will never sign that brief. That's the problem. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. There's not enough Republicans to get 3/5 of what the Constitution requires. If every one of us signs it, we don't have enough. And I'll sign it today. I promise you, I will go to Capitol, call you, and you can come watch me sign it.
The issue you have is that the White House and the Trump administration said you need 29 based on their constitutional lawyers of the U.S. Constitution. So a lot of people feel that the 3/5 senator was a red herring.
John, no way. John, no way. 29 people are elected people can change.
No, the U.S. Constitution says you can call this General Assembly can call a special session with 50% plus one of both houses if it is around the electors certifying the election and the presidential election. That's in the U.S. Constitution. That's what the petition was about. That's why people are upset. Whether you could have done anything with a special session, I think the callers are saying was not as important to them that you actually went through with it. Marie, thank you for your call, and you're a fine public speaker, so don't worry about it. Line 2, Jeff in Warner Robins, Georgia. Jeff, you're live.
Yeah, hi, John. Welcome to Georgia, the watermelon capital of the world. I'm angry again, John. You had the representatives from Dalton recently on the line, and I called in, and I was angry and embarrassed. Well, the same feeling applies today. Just a few comments because I know you're running short on time, and I've been waiting online. You've had a lot of callers today. A third grader, John, a third grader would know that the U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Do these guys not understand that? And who brought in these constitutional experts? Who brought them in? Was it our reps that brought them in, or was it the governor, the corrupt governor that they're standing for? We were told it's too late. These reps just said it's too late to do anything about it. By God, the people in 1776 didn't think it was too late to stand up and fight, did they? I'm sure the patriots that were told back then in 1776, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. And these guys are doing the same thing. By God, we've had enough of it, guys. Stand up and fight.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to turn that one over to Representative Williams.
Again, we have to have 108 signatures out of the House. I don't know how
No,
much.
you don't. You needed 90.
Okay,
What?
John, I'm glad you know more than our folks in
Well,
Georgia.
I know what the President of the United States says. You need 91 signatures. He got on the phone with your speaker, and the speaker agreed with him. That's what we heard back. The speaker said, if the Senate does 29, I can get you 91. You can't hide behind the 3/5.
John, the speaker is a very powerful person, and I respect him greatly. and I will tell you this right here. If that's the case, if the speaker brings that to us, I'll assure you Cardin Summers and Noel Williams will sign on it today. Today. No question about it.
So maybe the heat should go on the speaker. If he said he could get 91, why doesn't he go and get 91?
Absolutely. And I understand.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Absolutely. And I feel this guy's passion. I am with him. I promise you we're with him. Okay? But we got to have somebody that you just said, the speaker, somebody at that level that says they can get that done, put it on paper.
Well, he said he could get it done, right?
Uh,
Blue Ridge, Georgia mountains. Maybe I'll go up there Friday.
Go see when you go to LJ.
Try to shake him down.
I mean,
Go to
please,
LJ.
John.
He's in LJ, isn't he? That's why they were trying to get me to. That's why they. Now it adds up. They were telling me, no, don't go to Cumming, go to LJ. I'm like, what's in LJ? I was like, nice little town.
If the Speaker of the House tells us that he can get that done, there's not a Republican that won't show up there to sign that piece of
All
paper.
right.